African Esquire TV. I'm your host, Kenny Cherie. So if you have not seen my interview that I did with Obi Egbuna Jr., please go watch that because it's just so much knowledge that was in that interview. But something that was very specific that we talked about came back to mind whenever I seen the story about Nana Akufo-Addo. And I wanted to discuss it, not necessarily to trash him, but to talk about the fact that we have to understand that in the current system of Pan-Africanism, the current system of neo-colonialism, any sign or any rudimentary type of progress that we see from certain people taking stances against colonialism by Europeans, but that does not eradicate the relationship of capitalism to our people, is not going to really actualize change. So you might know before I've done videos about Nana Akufo-Addo, about the fact that he's been very bold in his criticism of the French, who have been obviously notorious at this in this particular era to be known as being just ruthless when it comes to colonizing former French Francophone countries and countries that weren't even Francophone countries, honestly. But now here we are, and there's some things have come out about him that I think we have to discuss in light of not just him, but other African presidents and leaders who make deals that compromise the self-determination of African populations. So I'm going to read from an article that it says, Ghana is planning to sell its future gold royalties. And here's why the deal is so unpopular. Ghana's parliament, dominated by legislators loyal to President Nana Akufo-Addo, passed an agreement that would see that the West African nation sell most of its future gold royalties under the agreement. Africa's largest producer of gold is seeking to monetize up to 75% of future royalties from the 16 big mines in a company registered in Jersey, a tax haven called Ajipa Mineral Royalty Limited. To do this, the government in 2018 established the Minerals Income Investment Fund to manage the equity interests of Ghana in mining companies and receive royalties on behalf of the government. The fund is expected to manage and invest these royalties and revenue from equities for higher returns for the benefit of the country. The law allows the fund to establish a special purpose vehicles to use for the appropriate investments. Pursuant to this, the MIIF set up an offshore limited liability company known as Ajipa Royalties Limited in Jersey. A Ghanaian subsidiary known as ARG Royalties Ghana Limited was also established. Per the agreement, Ghana will sell 49% of its shares in Ajipa to raise $500 million on the London Stock Exchange. And I know this is a lot, everyone. This is why I always put the articles in the description if you want to read it slowly, but I'm trying to get through a lot pretty quickly. It says, it was the murky way that the Ajipa agreement was passed in Ghana's parliament that brought about this controversy. On the last day, the MPs were set to go on recess. The government laid before the August House volumes of documents containing the agreement. The MPs hardly had time to peruse the specifics of the deal. Nonetheless, it was still passed by the House after minority MPs staged a walkout. In her legal opinion regarding the deal, the country's Attorney General, Gloria Akufo, described the deal as unconscionable and screwed against the interest of Ghana. She also questioned the lack of a fixed time frame for the agreement. The agreement has been described by the government officials as an innovative way to raise money, of course. However, the agreement has generated some controversy for its secrecy and the involvement of persons close to government officials. For instance, the Ajipa boss, who was the son of the senior minister, was recruited under secrecy. Also, one of the three law firms that acted as a transition advisors for the Ajipa deal belongs to Gabi Ocheri Dorku, a cousin of President Akufo-Addo. Now, here's another article from Ghana Web. It says it's becoming obvious to many Ghanaians and Ghana supporters that the Akim faction of the NPP is totally in agreement and are conniving to sell off Ghana's natural resources. The faction of the NPP are using political power, one major institutional authority, and local expertise of individuals and natural resources, energy, and international financial institutions and capital markets in Ghana and abroad to deprive Ghanaians of their natural resources. They are selling the resources to foreign interests. However, what is not clear at this time is that all who are behind the rotten Ajipa misdeed in Ghana, who are all the transaction counselors with embedded opaque interest in the scheme who have already collected, are collecting, or will collect soon in the future. What is not clear is unknown to many Ghanaians and is what are leading the corporate and commercial law firms and professional enterprises in Ghana that participated and are participating in the sell-off of Ghana's natural resources, continuing now with Ghana's gold after the debacle with Ghana's oil and gas resources. The article goes on to say, well, clearly with respect to Ajipa royalties, the gate has been breached by the Akim faction of the NPP. They are actually proposing to hide Ghana's natural resources in a tax haven without accountability by current and future parliaments of Ghana, the people of Ghana, and international observers such as the Transparency International. Clearly, Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah would never have dreamed of implementing such an obnoxious, rotten deal. Ghana and Africans, certainly not for merely $500 million in exchange for depriving Ghanaians living and unborn in perpetuity of all of their gold resources from Accra to Bolgatanga, from Obuasi to Tarkwa, from Eduapim to Asanko to future Z discoveries, and pass it all off to the people of Ghana as Ajipa royalties forever. Okay? Do y'all understand just how horrible this is for Ghana, which is seen currently as being one of the less corrupt countries, they say, or more developed countries, they say. This is actually something that's being done in spite of the image that people are portraying of Ghana to the world. So what is the takeaway for us whenever we're looking at these situations? It's the same takeaway that I keep trying to push, is that, to me, it's not just, okay, get you a government, have it be stable, have elections every 4 years, have the image that the West portrays of what this is how democracy is, this is how it works, but have no scheme that is going to protect the people, have no scheme where the people have any say about their natural resources, have no scheme that's going to deal with the fact that the governments that are in existence are colonial creations, nothing like that. We're going to deal with this on a surface level, and we're going to expect results that are going to reverse colonialism and years of exploitation by foreign entities. That makes no sense. And honestly, it's getting to a point where we have to start questioning, what is it that we want for our African continent? Because if what you want for your African continent is for these rich Africans to be able to have these financial interests and be able to travel the world and enjoy the luxuries, that while the masses of the people are living off of nothing, while the masses of the people have access to almost nothing, then in my opinion, your interest, your desires, your aspirations are complete contradiction to what African liberation looks like. We're in a period right now where everyone's talking about, I did the video recently, they're talking about building a Wakanda in Ghana. What's that going to do for the masses of Africans? It might do something for the image that you want to portray, because I hear it all the time. Africa's not this place where people are just living in a jungle and all this stuff. Like, we have cities, we have beautiful skyscrapers, we have all these things, and that's fine if I understand the need to establish, particularly for Africans who live abroad, that you did not come from nothing. But if that's your goal and your end game, then what does that do to disrupt a very present and very intact colonial relationship that exists between you and the European or Western powers? It does absolutely nothing. Instead, we're continue to be in this position. We continue to be in the position of being exploited, of being subjugated, because we're unwilling to deal with what it is that we really want for people. And that is not just having the image of civility, but having a scheme where the resources are controlled by the people. this is, obviously a horrible thing to come out. And right now, there's a lot of talk about corruption, even though the election is coming up for Ghana, and it's questioned whether or not, this will affect Nana Akufo-Addo, although a lot of people are saying it will not. Every single country in Africa is having these same things happening. This is not something that is particular to any one president or any one government. Similarly, every single country in the world under Western influence is susceptible to the same types of dynamics, the same types of colonial creations. But it's really up to us who have had enough. And if you have not had enough, then maybe this video isn't for you. But if you have had enough, it's time for us who have had enough to actually put ourselves in a position to organize our people, because nothing else is going to stop this. It's not going to be stopped by one person. It's not going to be stopped by one party being in power. It's not going to be stopped by someone just because they talk bold to the West. That's what a lot of people love about Kagame, right? Kagame talks bold to the West. He says, oh, you guys can't come here with your Western interests. You can't tell me what to do. What does he do? He goes right back and has the same colonial relationship to the Africans who are in the Congo. And because of that, we feel proud of him. We feel proud that he stands up to the white man, but then playing the imperialist on the African continent. We feel proud of those things. Let that resonate with you. We're really manipulated into this point where we're more focused on looking as with the appearance of power. That's what it is, the appearance of being powerful, rather than having control and having self-determination. That's where we are today. So I just put this video out there. Hopefully you guys read the articles for yourself, do your research on the issues yourself. But I just wanted to put this out there because I think that this is something that it's kind of coming to a point where we're going to have to finally address these colonial relationships, and not just the talk of liberation, but the actual scheme of liberation and what it means, not for a few billionaires or millionaires, but for the everyday people who live on the African continent and in the African diaspora. So that's all I have for this video. I will see you all in the next video.